All right, Mick Cronin, UCLA. We love during tournament time. He comes on a couple of times a year. We've had Mark Few and Tom Izzo. I got to play you, Coach. Izzo was asked about the transfer portal right after a game, and he had no interest talking about it. Here is Mick. When the transfer portal, they've got to get this thing fixed. I mean, there's guardrails have improved, but it's still absurd that basically in the middle of this tournament, here come the transfer portal questions, and here was Mick after a loss.
It's 12:40 a.m., and our season just ended. That's it. You're going to ask me about next year? Right now, my biggest concern is how bad the seats are on the Allegiant flight, on that terrible plane that we're going to have to fly home tomorrow. And is there any chance that Doug got me some hot food, because I don't eat on game day, that I got something edible?
By the way, I love that. Listen, I am for, let's just start with this. Transfer portal, NIL. Where are you today on that?
Well, you got to be positive about it. I learned this when I was young. Somebody told me, if you complain, you're never going to achieve. So if you don't like something, okay, then get a new job. Don't complain about your job. Right. Shut the hell up. Just go get a new job. So it is what it is. Now, I'm all for, and I have been, guys getting paid.
Yeah.
Like this should have happened a long, long time ago. And it's just, right now, the NCAA is on the run trying to survive, okay, trying to get help from the government. So I'm of the opinion, look, they're trying to figure all this out. They are. They really are. And everybody's talking right now. The problem's the timing right now.
That's right.
You know, okay, like this is our best time of year for you to, this is when you talk about college basketball.
That's 4 great weeks.
We don't need to be, we should be talking about the games right
That's
now.
right.
Not that the portal opened Monday and 1,300 guys are already in.
Yeah.
So they got, you know, they got to adjust and roll and, you know, and fix all that. And I think there'll be adjustments to it. But as far as, you know, paying players, I mean, that's here to stay. And it should have came a long time ago.
Yeah. So I have 15 of the 16 teams.
That's impressive.
J-Max, do you hear that?
That's impressive. How many you got?
10.
Oh.
Okay.
See, because you went by the old model.
Yeah.
And the portal model eliminates the mid-majors.
That's right.
Because all their players are playing for us.
That's right. I'm for it. I want to watch UCLA with a stacked roster.
And so is Mark Silverman. You know, I mean, you look, the networks are all, the network heads.
They love it.
He's your network head. They're all for, all that stuff, all they need Cinderella. No. The executives, they want Duke and Arizona.
Okay, so now, but I'm going to get toasted here because I tried to outthink the room.
Yeah.
I picked Arizona over Duke for 2 reasons. Freshmen don't win the title.
I heard you say that.
Okay, and secondly, Caleb Love, veteran, they got a 7-footer playing well. You know UCLA well. Can they beat Duke, and how?
Yeah, well, we played Arizona.
Yes.
And so they played Duke early in the year.
That's when the center wasn't as good.
Well, they had Krivas, Arizona did, who was their starting center. He got hurt. And then Vassar started playing more, but Krivas is 7-1. So, and look, Arizona didn't get off to a great start either. But winning at the McHale Center is not an easy thing. And Duke went in there to Tucson and won.
So you think Arizona's in a little trouble?
Look, here's the beauty of this tournament. You only got to win by 1.
Pressure's all on Duke.
And it's not a game. It's not a best of 5 or best of 7. So they only got to win by 1. So, can they win? Sure. Especially, I would say exactly what you said. If Caleb Love he has to make shots. If he doesn't make shots, they're not going to win.
When's the first time you saw Cooper Flagg?
My assistant, Darren Savino, and I in Orlando, he said, we got to walk over this court way in the back in AAU in the summer. I said, who were we doing?
What year?
4 years. He was going to be, now he skipped a year of high school, so he had just finished his freshman year.
In high school?
Yes. And I said, where are we going? He goes, there's a freshman from Maine that's unbelievable. And, so, we're UCLA. We got to show your face, we'll offer him a scholarship. And I'm like, what? The guy's in Maine. He got to come to you. He goes, come on, we'll walk over here. And I was you got to be kidding me. I mean, it was obvious.
Really?
Oh, it was obvious.
Even as a 13, 14-year-old.
He defends. He's athletic. He blocks shots. There's nothing. He shoots. He thinks, and he's a fierce competitor.
He's got a little edge to him.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy Jackson and I were going on one of your shows here about I said, he's trying to compare him to Keith Van Horn. And
he's better than Keith.
Yeah, and that's all respect to Keith. Yeah. But what I didn't get to say, we didn't have enough time. What if Cooper Flagg could play 3 years at college?
36 a game his last year.
And he was coming into the NBA then. Then people would be saying, is this guy Larry Bird?
That's a great take.
And that's you know how good you have to be. Like, look, none of those guys were ready. I mean, Wembanyama wasn't ready to make a team. No, you can't go make a team win when you're 18, 19 years old. You just can't do it.
Can't get into the hotel bar.
No, you're not JT Daniels, who started 55 games in college. Yeah, of course. Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
That went to the Commanders.
Yeah.
He started 55 games, which it would be the equivalent of Cooper Flagg playing what? 100 and something college games?
Right.
Give him 100 and something college games, then let him go to the NBA. But those days, then it's Magic Johnson. It's, it's Larry Bird. It's whatever. I mean, he's that good, guys.
Now, so I said this when the USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington merged with the Big Ten. I said it's not going to matter to football. They've got 5 road games. I said it's going to hurt volleyball, basketball. I said those guys are toast because they're playing on Tuesdays and they got classes. I'm like,
yeah.
So you had to do the travel, midweek travel. You also had Big Ten basketball. I watched. I had Izzo on. I said you can't shoot a lick from 3, but you score 80.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but you get there. So let's talk first about Michigan State, then the pivot into the Big Ten. When you listen. St. John's was trying to win a title without shooters. Can Michigan State get to the Final Four?
They can, but they're going to have to. They shoot it a little bit better, but they have stretches where they're awful, like the first half against New Mexico. The difference is, I think, they're deeper than St. John's.
Yeah, they got it. Yes.
And their defense. Their defense is the key because they run off their defense.
No, they get to 80 points. It's crazy.
They didn't against UCLA, but they do. They got to 61. But so again, that's all who you play now. We win our first round game by 25, and they said, well, you didn't make shots against Tennessee. No. We didn't. The problem was Tennessee. The problem.
They're really good.
Yeah, we didn't have our best night, but it's because of them. So the matchups are the key in this tournament. Now for Michigan State. They have to beat you on the backboard and shut you down and get out on the break. If they don't do that and they have to execute because they don't have a guy they can just give the ball to that can just get you baskets. They don't have an unguardable player. Their best offensive player is a freshman, Chase Richardson, who's done a great job.
Good player.
He's done, but he's, to your point, I mean, he's a freshman.
Yeah. And
Cooper Flagg's got Tyrese Proctor now, making every shot in his 3rd year. And, he's got Knippel's another top 10 pick. So Michigan State doesn't have that guy, but they got that guy on the sideline now.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. So I said the best game I saw in the tournament was UConn, Florida, and Florida's super physical, and so is UConn.
Yeah.
And I said sometimes when you beat a team, they're actually the perfect team for your next game. Mm-hmm. And I think Maryland's in trouble against Florida because I think UConn – that's the first time in 3 months somebody went into Florida and pushed them around.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're going to benefit from UConn. I think Florida's really, really good.
I said it. I did the pregame show with your guys here for Duke, Illinois, and I said I thought Florida was the best team back then. Very few – they played 4 centers. They just beat you to death. Now somehow we were on the plane, so it's not like we had with the NCAA buying the plane. It's not like we were watching the UConn Florida game.
Yeah.
It was all I could do to get a bag of pretzels. But
by the way, Fubo's excellent if you want to use this. FUBOTV, it's excellent. By the way,
you got to have internet though. So, but anyway, I mean, look, we can't even get a seat reclines. But when you're talking about UConn, I saw the rebounding. They rebounded with them. So my concern for Maryland, and my Kevin Willard is one of my best friends in the world. Can Queen and Reese stay out of foul trouble? that's a problem.
Good luck.
Because they don't have any backups.
No, that was St. John's issue. St. John's was a great second-half team because that's the only time they could play at
yes, and they beat you up and wore you down.
But in the first half, they couldn't get anybody in the foul trouble. They had no depth.
Well, they ran into a team longer and more athletic that they hadn't seen in the Big East.
Yeah. By the way, I've had my issues with Calipari. I think he's great for the sport. He's a program builder. He's got a great sense of humor. He's amazing at the podium. Dude can recruit. Arkansas is – I'm going to tell you something. There's underdogs and there's underdogs. I watched Arkansas St. John's, and I'm like, they got NBA dudes.
But they had the better players. That's the thing about the tournament. You thought
Arkansas had the better players.
Arkansas had the better players. You could overachieve in the regular season. Coaching, your schedule, you stay healthy. And some teams underachieve. They got injuries. They go through turmoil, but they come together in the tournament. And then your bad luck is if you play them. And you overachieved, St. John's. Arkansas underachieved.
And they had injuries, too.
And they had injuries all year, and to multiple guys. But give Calipari's credit, Coach Cal put them together, man. And look, not only did they start winning games, you got to start winning SEC games. It's tough.
Dude, that conference is.
It's crazy. Nothing since nobody's seeing like it since 2011 in the Big East.
It's crazy.
So, but look, I told my dad we were in Lexington, and everybody in Lexington were there for the NCAA tournament. Hey, the talk was Coach Pitino, Coach Calipari. I told obviously my guys, Coach Pitino. I think he's in trouble. They got better players. Arkansas they ran into a team longer and more athletic.
Yep.
And eventually, if you can't shoot, it gets you. So I know that's like your concern with Michigan State.
Yeah, well, in college basketball, you have to be good defensively because with very few exceptions, most kids, they're not. It's hard to be a great shooter at 17 years old. Ray Allen didn't walk into the NBA Ray Allen. He was athletic.
Correct. Reggie Miller.
Now, he was.
No.
He wasn't.
He didn't. He became a way better shooter. I mean, he was a way better pro than college player. Way better. Not even close. I mean, they went to the NIT. They won the NIT his senior year. Didn't even make the tournament.
So Big Ten, SEC, we said on this show in January, I kept telling J-Mac, you got to watch an hour of SEC basketball, dude. It's like these games are all close. The arenas are crazy. It's NBA dudes. It's NBA length, Auburn, Tennessee, Florida. Big Ten, like Michigan's just big. Michigan State's doing it with defense. What was your first, in this transition year, I think the football teams figured it out. It's more physical.
Yeah.
Those Big Ten teams are playing in cold weather. UCLA, USC, not used to it. What is the transition for a West Coast program playing Big Ten?
Well, look, the travel is what it is. I would say our conference was way more higher scoring than the traditional Big Ten. Right. Way more. Like Illinois was a scoring team.
Is that stylistically coaching or just?
Talent. I think it's talent. The game's evolved. There's more guys shooting the three. You look at, Dusty May brought with Michigan. They could really shoot the ball. Coaches always push. Matt Painter is a great offensive coach. Brad Underwood's become a three-point shooting guy. Kevin at Maryland, they shot it. They had a great team. They averaged over 80 a game. There was a lot of really good offensive teams. The coaching's great. The difference is the league is just deeper.
Yeah.
Than the Pac-12.
And you added the L.A. market, so you're going to get more L.A. kids.
The league is just, I was a part of the old Big East in 11. So you can get better, but it's not, you got to get better than.
Right.
It's harder to climb the ladder. You got to get better than. We finished fourth, so in our first year, I was extremely proud of the guys.
So you have an international coach on your staff, and so you do some international stuff, and everybody does. And I look at it, and if I said to you, now, we know the international players used to have a soft label. That's not the case anymore.
That's changed.
Even Jokic's brothers, I don't want to mess with them.
No, you don't want them dudes.
No. So the international players, for years, there was a Tony Kukoc feel. You can push them around.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
Darko
That's right.
Milicic,
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, tell me the difference between an 18-year-old Serbian player that goes to UCLA and an 18-year-old kid that played at Dominguez Hills or somewhere in L.A.
The skill level's different. All they do in Europe is train.
Shoot and pass.
But they don't, in European basketball, and you'll hear the NBA guys, they all started to speak to this, we got to make changes here because our system is tied to the scholastic system. So our player development system is high school basketball, middle school basketball. And that's not the case in Europe. You play club basketball. There is soccer's the same way. So we're tied to the scholastic system. So then the state associations, they limit practice time. There's also, by the way, only one gym. So you got to share it with three. You got freshman JV varsity girls, boys. You got volleyball. You can't even get gym time. So it's a problem. So the skill level of the European is just way higher.
And the academies and
all of it. Everything's an academy. Everything's a club. So there is no pickup basketball. Like J. Mac, Colin, and Mick are not going to just play pickup. Everything they do over there is with a coach. There's no even like college. We have hour restrictions, 20 hours a week in season.
They don't.
8 hours a week out of season. They have no restrictions. None.
So they're just more skilled.
Because that's what they practice. They also practice how to set a screen and use a screen. Like that, to them, that's like, drinking water when you're 12 years old. Where now we get kids have never set a screen in their life. Like, you're going to have me screen? What do you mean? I had the ball. I just came up playing AAU. Like, no.
That's him. That's J-Mac.
Yeah.
He's a classic domestic shooter.
Yeah,
never set a screen in his life or D'd a guy out.
Yeah, you tell some guy's been a high school great player, and you're telling me you get to college and he's going to set a screen? What are you talking about? Which is the advantage for like a guy like Steph Curry, played for Bob McKillop. So, but I mess with my NBA friends, Colin, all the time because, you get more when you're at UCLA. Say, I'll use our facilities. They're there all summer.
You guys have great facilities.
Yeah, and they play there all summer. The NBA guys play in our men's gym. But they all, the NBA guys complain. Like, these kids don't know how to play. They guess, well, you draft them before we can teach them.
Well, why does LeBron, why did he choose Kevin Love? Remember, he could have had Andrew Wiggins, and that's nothing against Bill Self, but in the end, he was like, give me old guys.
Yeah.
Give me J.R. Smith from the Knicks.
Guys that know how to play.
That's right. They know how to play.
Do they complain about the young guys? Well, we can't teach them. They don't go to college anymore, except if they do, they go for 7 months. We're talking about the best talent.
No, I told Adam Silver this. I love you, bro, but stop marginalizing college basketball. The coaching's better in college.
Yeah, well, look, he's obviously a wildly intelligent man, but he tried to wipe us out with the G League at night. With the G League
and by the way,
night.
I don't watch G League.
No, nobody's watching that stuff, man. Let's be honest. You're never going to get rid of the pageantry of college sports in our country, even with guys transferring every year.
It's still great.
Because people still want to watch their favorite school. And the kids play hard because there's only so many games. I mean, even college basketball regular season game in the Big Ten is World War III. It's not, in the NBA, game 80, game 72. Guys are sitting out. Guys are hurt. Them guys are tired, man.
March is a bad month for the NBA because it's juxtaposed. All the college kids are playing like their life depends on it. NBA guys are doing reduced minutes, and you can really see it as a consumer.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, wow, this is intense. By the way, if I'm your age, if I run the NCAA, you're flying American, I'll get you comfort. You're not doing that stuff.
I mean, it's just tough. It was our 7th trip back east for UCLA. It was our 7th. So you asked earlier about the travel. But that is what it is. I think the biggest thing is the talent level. And look, the SEC had it this year, and people were trying to write articles, Colin, about money. Well, they had more money. Now, we all got money.
Yeah.
Last year, the Big 12 had a great year.
Yes.
I mean, but it's going to rotate around the three big leagues with the money.
Yeah. Mick Cronin, this was fun.
It's always great, buddy.
I love when you come on the show. I could sit and talk college hoops forever. My guys on the staff have to listen to my 70s baseball nonsense this morning for a half hour. But these guys don't understand that when I grew up as a kid, college basketball was better than the NBA until Jordan got there.
Yes. I mean, the NBA was in trouble back
Bird
then.
and Magic were great, but that was 2 cities. The rest of the league was nonsense. It was like, then Jordan arrived, and you're like, okay, now this is better than college. But this whole Cooper Flagg, you watch him, he's going to be a star in the NBA. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all. College basketball is such a great ally to the NBA. Put your arms around it. We got to go. Mick Cronin, UCLA, they have great facilities. I love them on the show. Back in a second to Hurt.